The trip was supposed to be a simple shortcut, a late-night drive to shave a few hours off the journey home. I'd taken this back road a dozen times before, but never this late. The clock on the dash read 2:07 a.m. The only company I had was the crackling voice of a DJ on some distant classic rock station, his words fading in and out between songs. He was just starting to introduce a track, something about a long dark road, when the radio let out a final, violent burst of static and fell silent. Right on cue, as if the silence itself was a signal. The engine coughed once, twice, and then died. The car rolled to a stop, momentum bleeding away until it was just a dead hunk of metal on the asphalt. And the forest swallowed the sound. It wasn't a gradual quiet. It was sudden, absolute. No insects chirping their nightly symphony. No wind whispering through the canopy of ancient oaks and pines that crowded the road. Just a silence so heavy, so profound, it felt like a physical pressure against my eardrums, like being at the bottom of a deep, dark ocean. The world outside my windshield was a void, punctuated only by the two pale cones of my headlights cutting into the oppressive blackness. I tried the ignition again. Nothing, not even a click. The battery was fine just a moment ago. I tried the radio, twisting the knob desperately. Static, dead air. That's when I saw him. A figure stood at the very edge of the trees, just beyond the reach of my headlights, a silhouette against deeper darkness. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drum beat in the crushing silence. He wore what looked like an old highway patrol uniform, but it was wrong somehow. The fabric hung too stiff, too immaculately clean for someone standing on a muddy shoulder. The hat, a classic Smokey Bear style, was pulled low, shadowing his face in a way that felt deliberate. But I could see his smile. It was a sliver of white in the gloom, wide and unnatural. He raised one gloved finger and crooked it toward me, a slow, deliberate summons. A primal fear, cold and sharp, shot through me. I fumbled for the door lock button, the plastic click echoing like a gunshot in the cabin. He took a step forward, then another, his movements unnervingly smooth, almost like he was gliding over the ground. As he entered the full glare of the headlights, the smell hit me. It seeped through the car's vents, a putrid, cloying odor of damp soil and decay, the unmistakable scent of something long buried and recently unearthed. He stopped just a few feet from my driver's side door. His face lifted into the light, and a gasp caught in my throat. His eyes weren't reflecting the headlights. They were dark, empty pits. Not just dark, but absorptive, like two burned-out tunnels leading into nothingness. His skin was pale and waxy, stretched tight over his cheekbones. The smile hadn't wavered. It was a fixed, painted-on grimace that didn't reach those hollow eyes. "Car trouble," he said. The voice was the most terrifying part. It was smooth and dry, like dead leaves skittering across pavement, completely devoid of warmth or life. It seemed to come from all around me, not just from the man outside. Happens a lot out here. Folks get stranded. I couldn't speak. I just shook my head, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles were white and aching. My mind was screaming, a high-pitched wail of pure terror that wouldn't let any coherent thought form. Get away now. But I was trapped. That's when I noticed the road behind him. In my panic, I'd been focused only on this thing in the uniform. But the road wasn't empty. Far from it. Shapes stood there, clustered on the shoulder and spilling into the tree line. Dozens of them. Men, women, even children. They were like faded photographs come to life. A man in a 1950s style fedora and trench coat. A woman in a tie-dye shirt and bell-bottoms from the 70s. A teenager in a hoodie and jeans who couldn't have been from more than a few years ago. All of them were unnaturally pale, their skin glowing with a faint, ghostly luminescence under the moonless sky. And all of them wore the same wide, vacant smile as the patrolman. All of them were staring right at me. The patrolman leaned down, his movements slow and reptilian, until his face was just inches from the window. The smell of grave dirt intensified, choking me. I could see the fine cracks in his waxy skin, the perfect, unnatural whiteness of his teeth. "Come on out," he whispered, his voice a sibilant hiss against the glass. "Join the party. You don't want to be alone in the dark." His empty eyes bored into mine, and I felt a strange, cold pull, a temptation to just open the door, to end the fear, to give in. It was a siren's call to oblivion. And then, a miracle, or something else. The engine roared back to life on its own, the sound so violent and unexpected it made me scream. The headlights brightened, The dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree. I didn't think. I didn't hesitate. I slammed my foot on the accelerator. The tires shrieked on the pavement as the car lurched forward. For a split second, the patrolman's face remained at my window, his smile finally faltering into an expression of surprise before he was gone. I risked a glance in the rearview mirror. The crowd of figures, the patrolman included, were shrinking rapidly. They didn't run or wave. They just stood there, a silent, smiling congregation watching me go. Then, one by one, they seemed to dissolve, their forms becoming translucent, fading back into the darkness like smoke in the wind until only the empty road remained. The radio snapped back on, blasting the end of a guitar solo. The DJ's voice returned, cheerful and oblivious. The clock on the dash blinked once, then settled. 2:11 a.m. Only 4 minutes had passed. It felt like a lifetime. I didn't stop driving. Not for gas. Not for anything. I kept my foot pressed to the floor, my eyes glued to the road ahead, refusing to look in the rearview mirror again. I drove until the black sky bruised into purple and then bled into the fiery orange of dawn. Only when the first rays of sun warmed my face through the windshield did I finally allow myself to pull over, my body shaking with adrenaline and exhaustion. That was years ago, but the memory hasn't faded. It's been etched onto my soul. People still talk about mile marker 17 on that old back road. They whisper stories of unexplained disappearances, of cars found abandoned with no sign of the driver. They call it the ghost road. I know what they are. They're a collection. A gallery of lost souls, curated by a thing in a patrolman's uniform. And sometimes, when I'm driving late at night and I pass a darkened stretch of woods, I feel a cold dread creep up my spine. For a fleeting moment, in the reflection of my own side window, I swear I see another face looking back at me. A pale, waxy face. And in the periphery, standing at the edge of the trees, I see my own figure. Standing there, among the others, smiling that same wide, empty smile, waiting for the next car to come to a stop, waiting to welcome them home.
Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. We upload fresh, original horror stories daily, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.